there for this company, and when we need them, they're not there for us, and that's not right. They're giving themselves raises, they're giving themselves title promotions, they're giving themselves bonuses, they're taking themselves out, they're doing everything for their leadership team. They went to the budget committee meeting not to talk about what we need, but what their leadership team needs. They don't care about us. What do we get for Christmas? What did TNDC get for Christmas? TNDC got bonuses, every one of them, for Christmas.
My name is Clarence Johnson. I've been here 16 years. And I haven't seen no change, and it's about the clients, that's it. But we are not protected. I mean, the clients that say we hit them and we didn't, they get fired. So
you're doing public work, isn't this public work?
I think it's very much public work. I think we should be a city worker, county. I mean, the higher ups get $180,000 a year, and they don't do nothing but sign paper.
What's the average wage here?
It's $17.24.
You would be homeless working at this.
Righteously and truly, I live with my parents. Yeah.
My name is Naj Daniels, and of course I am a union representative with 1021. I don't have the honor of representing THC, but we are here in solidarity because THC is in negotiations for wages and all of the things that we fight for in a new contract with HSH, who is the payer to THC. HSH has been holding back signing off on any contracts or wage increases for 9 months. They've been at the table, and today is the first day of our strike because the workers are tired. They want to have a living wage and not a poverty wage. They want the floor to be raised at THC where all the workers are making at least $21 an hour. They want the compaction to be included, and they know that the city has the money because the mayor gave money to all of these nonprofits to help out with homelessness. And THC is one of the biggest servicers besides Home Pride or Home Key and others like TNDC. So we're here in front of HSH asking them to do the right thing, to fund vital services, which are their frontline workers, like we always are.
Are you a worker here?
Yeah.
Why are you out here today?
For living wages.
You can't survive on the wages they pay you.
No. With inflation and everything that's going up, it's hard to actually do things. It's hard to actually pay rent. It's hard to pay for food. It's hard to pay for everything. The cost of living is high.
What's your wage? What is your wage?
17 an hour.
How do you live on it?
I don't.
The wages are unfair. My name is Paige, and the wages are unfair. I live check to check, and it's just unfair, and it has to stop. So we out here today, and we making sure that all this is coming to an end. We get the raise. It haven't been a raise in 3 years. I've been with the company for 2 years.
Wasn't the city providing money for wages?
They should. They gave them a large check, and they have not gave us anything. And considering the fact that it's COVID and all these things they expect us to do as front desk workers, being under management, they want us to go above and beyond. We are not CDC workers. We are a union worker, and we will fight.
What are the COVID conditions? I mean, is it dangerous for you?
Yes, it's dangerous. There's no temperature checks in the hallways, no hand sanitizer, none. And the respect level is for management. They don't have no great leadership. It just need to be cleaned house.
They're getting tens of millions of dollars from the city. Where's that money going?
Money going right to somebody's pocket, and we not seeing a dime.
You're doing public work. Isn't this public work?
Yeah, at first I came for a check, and I noticed that they really need the help. When I came in here, and I'm seeing my great customer service to these people that never had it, actually seeing some people clean up by me asking, how was your day? Just treating them normally. I don't see management or leadership coming and do so. So this is public work, and I feel good doing it.
How long have you worked here?
I've been here with the company 2 years.
Well, you say the treatment is bad by management. What do you mean?
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
You say the treatment is not good by management. When you ask for like PPE or something like that?
Yes, a raise. We have somewhat PPE, but when it comes to the respect level and the raise, we don't get that at all. It's been 3 years.
I mean, you're doing public work. The city is giving a lot of money to this institution. Randy Shaw is the manager of it, the operator. Why isn't the money going to the workers?
I don't know. That's what we were here today to figure out. because we are fighting for respect.
Do you think you should be a public worker? You're doing public work
Yep, doing public work and it feels good.
to help people and help the city.
Actually, this is my first time striking ever. I never fought for anything, but this isn't right. I am not a CDC worker, and it's horrible in there. I don't bring my purse in there. That's how bad it is. So when somebody is living in that type of condition, how can you expect their mind to even elevate? And I try so hard to bring customer service, but when I don't get any gratitude on what I'm doing, it sucks.
And you're saying there may be health and safety concerns you have.
Well, health and safety. Luckily, I have PPE training, so I have to bring that I bring my knowledge there.
Do they train the clients?
No, not at all.
There's no information on the client?
No, not at all.
How are they supposed to know how to take care of themselves?
No, and they don't. They want me to do rounds all through the building and go inside the bathrooms. And she woke me up because I said I'm not going in those bathrooms. So she woke me up. That's what made me come here today. I wasn't going to come, but when the way she talked to me and the way the management training is, what are they spending their money on? Because these managers are not getting trained professionally.
It's like a plantation.
Yeah, it is. It's horrible. I think the plantation probably smells better.
Fully support. Born and raised in San Francisco, is not enough money to take care of a family, so I'm with higher wages.
They're getting a lot of money from the city. Where's the money going?
I would love to know that. That's a question everybody has. That's why they're out here striking, I believe.
My name is Francisco Dominic Angulo. And what's happening right now within the whole entire system is we are understaffed, we are underpaid, we're making pennies. I'm a case manager. There's 2 of us right now at the Jefferson, only 2 of us to handle 107 people with their major problems in their lives.
What kind of problems do they have?
What kind of problems? Drug addiction, poverty, not enough help. They don't have help, and our turnout rate is so crazy because everybody wants to just leave because they're not getting paid enough. It's hard enough. I come from the streets. Like I've seen some things and been through some things, and it's hard for me to deal with it. And there's people like Salemo Rosales, who's been here for 2.5 years doing some major business by herself, and she's just a small, beautiful woman. You know what I mean? Like, how I don't even understand how she does it.
You're doing public work, aren't you? Isn't it public work? You're paid by the city. I mean, the non-profit.
I like to call it a service as being a human being. And you know what? We need to be paid as being a human being.
What does a caseworker for the city make? I mean, you're being underpaid, aren't you, for the work that you're doing?
I believe it's $20.92
that you're making.
Yeah.
And a city caseworker with the Department of Public Health.
Very hard. You know what I'm saying? Getting paid like $21 an hour. There's people that work at Target that are getting paid more than us.
And how do you live in San Francisco in those ways?
Barely. I have to go ahead and I have to rent out the room and make a living room my room just to survive. It's ridiculous. That's the funny thing is bills got passed to go ahead and like give us a amount of money. Where in the fuck is it at? Excuse my language. Where is it at? I don't trust whoever it is in that position of power that's not giving us what's deserved. Like the law has been passed and where is it at? And you know what? They try to shut us up by giving us a little bit of money to just the case managers in general. So they try to give us a certain amount of money and say, okay, here you go, done. But no, it doesn't work like that. We have janitors, we have clerical workers. Like, we are a unity. It doesn't matter how much you're paying me, because if you're not paying the people that I'm working with, the structure will still fall. There's people right now, I'm not going to mention any names, but there's people ready to all quit right now.
So this is a life and death situation.
It is. I'm going to quit.
Chanel Ellis. I'm out here because I feel that we deserve our raises. I feel that there's people that have been here and dedicated 15 and 20 and 25 years of their life, and with inflation and the cost of living, you know, we need our raises. And I feel like this company is one of the biggest nonprofits in San Francisco, but we're the lowest paid in San Francisco.
So you're saying other nonprofits who do similar work are paid more?
Yes,
their workers are paid
they
more?
are. I'm always on Indeed, and I see the difference. They're paid way more than we are. So if they give us that raise, we'll be up there with everyone else. But we're one of the biggest nonprofits in San Francisco. You know, when you think of nonprofits that are fighting for the homeless and, you know, homeless retention and all that, THC is going to come up. So we're one of the biggest, but their workers are the lowest paid, and it's not right. It's not fair. We have bills to pay. We have families to take care of, and it shouldn't be this hard to get a raise, especially when there's funding, you know?
So the city has provided funding for you to get more money.
I've been told that. I don't know, don't quote me, but, you know, if it is available, which it is, and that's what we're out here fighting for, right? So if it is, why can't it be allocated to the workers so that we can live comfortably?
What's your wage?
Right now, I believe 18 and some change.
$18 an hour?
Yes.
In San Francisco?
Change, yes, in San Francisco.
What's your classification?
I'm a desk clerk.
So you're making $18 an hour in San Francisco, taking care of people. How do you live on $18 an hour?
It's challenging, but you know, you have to work more, you have to work harder, overtime, other side jobs, and you know, you have to adjust. But I shouldn't have to do all that when I have this wonderful job here that should be paying me a lot more.
My name is Evan Oravik, and I'm the chapter president of the labor union here. So
you've been negotiating for a long time with this THC.
We've been negotiating since last November.
They say that they can't afford to give you more money. They're blaming the city. What's the situation?
It's a complicated situation, and it makes it difficult for workers. THC is nearly entirely funded by the city, and that's just the reality. And so we negotiate with THC, but the entity that has the most power to affect our wages is the city of San Francisco, and in this case particularly homelessness and supportive housing, who sets funding levels and has near unilateral power to set our wages.
And the city says they provided the money. Where is it going?
So what we know is money was provided to HSH to provide raises for desk clerks, case managers, janitors, maintenance workers, to name some of the biggest classifications. HSH has put out ranges for what they think that could raise the minimum wages for those jobs at. For desk clerks, as an example, they've said between $19 and $21.
How do you live on that?
You can't. And that's our point. And so particularly what we're saying is if you're putting out a range saying 19 to 21, you should do the top of the range that you're able to do without question, right? Anything less than that shows that you're not serious about this and that you don't understand it, right? So they need to use the money that they've been given, give us the highest wages they can do to finally show a serious investment in workers and these services, right? And that's what we're out here pushing, but the only thing that HSH has been able to commit is the bottom of those ranges.
And you're doing really public work, aren't you? I mean, this is something you're paid by the city to do work for people in San Francisco, aren't you?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, again, nearly every dollar of our wage is technically city money. It's put through THC, though. So we are doing work that the city is funding, and the city is saying it finds important, yet they don't want to pay us a living wage to do it. They pay us far less than they would pay a city worker doing comparable work.
You think you should be public workers?
Well, what I think is if they're going to keep this nonprofit system going, they either need to give us wage parity with city workers or admit that what this is a cost-cutting technique on the backs of workers.
These executives, I mean, Randy Shaw, they're making a lot of money. How much as corporate CEOs? Mm-hmm. How is their salary determined?
It's a good question. I'm not entirely sure. But what I do know is frontline workers are not paid enough, and it's hurting us, it's hurting our families, and it's damaging the services that we need to provide.
Clients, the people that need you. I mean, what kind of turnover do you have here?
Oh, it's massive, and this is part of it. We are tired of watching the clients that we care about and the communities that we care about suffer from underinvestment, right? With the wages as low as they are, we have consistently huge numbers of vacancies. We can't keep janitors, we can't keep desk clerks, maintenance workers, or case managers, because you can't live on this wage, and it's difficult work. You've got burnout, you've got high turnover, and you've got empty positions. Really, the system is at a breaking point, and that's what we're saying. The city needs to take this seriously, deeply invest in workers, and really take the system seriously.
I'm Amy Gray Schlenk. I'm with the Freedom Socialist Party, and I'm a plumber in Local 38 here in San Francisco. It seems really clear to me that a lot of work has already been either outsourced directly, like when we have big water main replacement projects, we don't do that anymore, public workers. But now there's so many consultants coming in and doing the work of people that are right next to me. I'm a public civil service worker. And we have consultants who aren't there to consult about anything. They're just private contractors right next to us taking permanent civil service jobs. And it doesn't make any sense on paper. It's got to be, the only way it makes sense is that management, it's not about a conspiracy theory. It's like you do the research, you see this manager is, a college buddy of this, engineering firm, Acon or Joe Hill. And you can just see there's so much behind the scenes that's not good for the city of San Francisco, not good for the people that are trying to do their job every day. So all that's being given away. And at the same time, we see we're just being set up to fail. There's 15 vacancies for plumbers. All that's being hired, and I don't have any problem with engineers, but all that's being hired is engineers. And that's where the consultants are coming from, engineering firms. So it's very evident to us that if it's not tomorrow, it's next week or next month, that just the whole water enterprise is going to be given away to a private company that's going to come in and say, we'll run it more efficiently. Well,
what is the union doing about it?
So that's a great question. Unfortunately, to be honest, I think a lot of our unions are staying out of the question. They're staying away from the issue. And as long as they can maybe get those private contractors to be union, to sign on to be signatories to the union, they're getting their dues. And I hate to say that I'm union all the way, but I need my union to understand that we need working class people. We need it to be as public as possible. And even for their own workers, I don't want to work for a private company that, doesn't even have the few civil service rules that we have. I don't want our water to be privatized either, because I got to drink it, and we know that private water systems are less safe.
They're creating a two-tier system among workers, isn't that two-tier? I mean, some who are public.
I think we've got 3 tiers at this point, because we have. I'm lucky. I'm a public. I'm a permanent civil service employee. There's people right next to me that do work for the city, but they have no protections. They're temporary. They don't have any of the protections. They can be fired tomorrow for.
It must be very difficult for these workers, these temporary workers.
It's horrible. It's terrible, and it's dangerous, because our group at the water department, Strength in Numbers, we started because my sister plumber was killed on the job, and she was a temporary employee. For 8 years she was a temporary employee with a kid to raise, with rent to pay, and she didn't even get death benefits, and she was killed on the job.
Should that be outlawed? Should there be a charter amendment in San Francisco? No outsourcing, contracting out of public work?
That's just for starters. We should have a charter amendment. No outsourcing, and we got to address other things too. Just the fact that our pensions have been chipped away at, the fact that the city of San Francisco is paying water bills. Water, there's no reason it should even be as expensive as it is. Now that we've got smart meters, everyone's bills are going up. And, they're saying, well, now we're reading it accurately, and we weren't reading. It's like they're acting like people were getting a deal before. It all could be run so much more efficiently, so much better. And again, they're running it into the ground. Management, City Hall. Harlan Kelly is, waiting to go to jail. He's our former boss. Now we've got Dennis Herrera, he literally is he's the face of a campaign supposedly to get rid of racism at the water department. And it's like so tone deaf. So there's so many problems. We need a charter amendment for that, but what we need is, as you said at the beginning in one of your questions, we need union support. We need all of our unions to get together.
It seems like this united front of public workers against privatization would benefit all workers and the community, the users of services.
It definitely would. That's where we really are actually all in this together. We're all going to go down with the ship, or we're going to actually save some of our services, make them more affordable, bring back public services. I have no interest in, I have no interest in I have no interest in these folks not getting a raise.
They're doing public work, aren't they?
They're doing public work, exactly.
They're non-profit public work.
Well, absolutely. So, I mean, if we can get all the things that have been outsourced, we should be getting it all back by the city under workers' control, democratic control by the working class people that need and use those services.
Aren't the Democrats the ones taking money from the privatizers, from corruption, your managers? I mean, the whole systemic corruption scandal in San Francisco is partly through privatization.
All I know is every time somebody tells me the Democrats are going to save us, I look and I see who's my boss. The mayor's a Democrat, always has been a Democrat in the 20 years I've worked here. So I don't think the Democrats are going to save us, because I've had furloughs, I've had pay freezes, I've had unsafe working conditions, and the mayor knows about all of it. So she's not trying.
This is a business district. They're taking jobs too, these business districts. They're not public workers, but they're doing public work, aren't they?
Right. I mean, and I don't know as much about that, but that's been my suspicion. And again, there's no reason why every single one of these things isn't a permanent civil service position.
SEIU! No contract, no peace!